We're finally getting close to the end of the Morris Minor Traveller restoration. Last week, Paul wrapped up the crossmember welding, David and I tackled the bumpers and lights, and Aaron finished off painting the interior floor. It's been a long road, but we're down to the last few jobs on the to-do list. This week is all about bringing the car back to life, getting the engine running, making sure everything's ready for the road. The devil's in the detail. Okay, right, here we go. This is genuine, by the way. I just said this started 2 years ago, picking this car up from Wales through somebody I know as an abandoned project, basically. But this intense bit's been probably about 7 or 8 weeks with the help of the likes of Paul and David and Aaron when he got back.
And Nicola.
And Nicola, of course, who's doing all the filming and the editing. So this, so all I've done is, fuel's working, got fuel, got a spark, Paul confirmed that, and it'll just be, if it doesn't start, it'll be probably just the positioning of the type of the distributor, which I found top dead centre on piston 1. I just got it in the right area, but if it's slightly off, it might struggle, but we'll see. I also spun it over several times with the plugs out to get the oil pressure up. It's a new plug, so a little crush washer needs crushing. And the firing order on the plugs is 1, 3, 4, 2. And my little thing is I put the cable tie on plug 1, 2, 2 of them on plug 2, and then 3 and 4 you don't have to do it because you know which one it is. And there's no doubt. He says when he finds out he's got the wrong order.
Bang!
Yeah.
Backfire. Only going a couple of weeks ago. Apart from the head gasket changed and the valves you've done and a few other bits and pieces.
And we don't know whether the distributor's in the right place, and a lot of it's all new.
Is that distributor tight or just will it move?
It will move, yeah. So just check nothing in the way. No tools lying around that are going to fall off.
Let's have a laugh.
That's the 7/16. You need it. Right. Bit of choke. Ignition on. First turn of the key.
There you go, leave that.
Get in!
I'm good with that.
Sorry?
Have to throw the phone in. Yeah.
That ain't bad.
Yeah, you won't get no better than that.
I'll tell you what it needs. It needs a bit more. The idle screws off and then down.
Yeah.
Just give it a couple of turns. There's a long red screwdriver.
Where's the screwdriver?
There, Nicola's got it. That one's a good one.
And might want the timing switch forward.
I had it right off.
So once you stroke it, you find out.
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds quite tight.
What about load of oil falling out? You don't say that.
The only thing I'd say, personally, it sounds a bit taxy. I did all the valve clearances. I mean, this is not stone cold, so we'll see how it goes when it warms up.
I can leave it to it now.
At the moment, no, you're just timing. Nothing to see here. Yeah. That's just done by, what's that? Oh, expansion. That's okay. Oh shit, that's something I should have done. Mind yourself.
Can't be that hot, can it? It might be a bit.
Morris Minors don't have a temperature gauge on them for the water, so this is a little infrared gun. You can aim it at the block I think you do a reading of the actual temp. At the moment it's 73, 70 degrees, 58, 70. It will change as we go round. Hold on, I've got one cold and one hot here. So, a couple of little. That was good news, basically. Fired up literally on the first turn of the key, which is very satisfying. Should have the cap off to let air out, because all these pipes have been changed and there's obviously air in the system. You can't fill up the radiator without that, so it built up a bit of pressure and threw some water out, which is fair enough. And that's now settled. Using this infrared gun, the engine's running at steady temperature, and the radiator, you can tell the water's coming in at the top hot and it's coming out at the bottom 25 degrees less, so that's all working as well. The only thing I've noticed that doesn't appear to be working is these are the two pipes that go in and out. Oh no, it's got hot now. That's interesting. That's going into the heater matrix, and whilst one of them was red hot, one of them was still cold. And I think that heater matrix was a bit chocked up. It's now probably, just by running, cleared itself a little bit, or the airlock, something like that, I don't know. But the good news is they're both hot. That means they will have hot air, hopefully, if they need it. Yeah, so that couldn't have gone much better, really. After another long night, got finished at 10 last night. This baby fired up and all was good. Literally perfect, but I've had a little bit of water come out because there was a bit of an air trap, but that's expected. And I did forget to keep the cap off, which is a bit silly, but that was the only thing. Ran really, really well. And then took a deep breath. Paul, my saviour in all of this, if I'm honest, who painted the engine bay, who welded the cross member, very nicely. It's a Friday evening, by the way. Came in at 5 p.m. after his day of work and put on all the front suspension, that's torsion bars. Put it all on, and I think he left about 8 o'clock last night, and I stayed on just to tighten everything up and what we call spanner check it. And that's all done. So now we're basically left with brakes, interior, lighting. The wings are going to go on shortly. I've got Alex here today, he's a friend of mine, who's a young lad but very good at detailing. And I've brought him in as a favour, and he's going to deal with the paintwork today. We're not going mad, the paint's not perfect, but we're just going to give it a bit of a lift and clean it up. I think I've said before, you hear that? That's all the rubbish and crap in the paint. Here where there's been some fresh paint, not a thing. So we're going to clean all the paint properly, clay bar, things like that, and then give it a little mop and just give it a little lift.
Polish it too.
Right, so hopefully this is the last, I reckon, 2 or 3 days of this. We're going on a week Tuesday, which is 3 days away from the week Tuesday, so that's good, because the plan was, in my eyes, was to have minimum 5 days, hopefully 7, to get any teething troubles out of the way, because obviously it's going completely rebuilt basically, and there's bound to be a few little issues. And also I've got my own car, which is a little MG Midget from 67, that I've got to do a little bit of work on before we go on this trip to Ongalim. One of the last big things is this interior. I've already started, put this Honduras on the wheel arches and new side panels at the back. This is the original. Obviously you've got the rear seats, the Honduras that sits here to go, and the boards are going to be fitted. This roof lining, I don't know if you can come in here, Nicola, just have a look, is very, very grotty. I mean, it was grotty when we got the car, and now we've been welding and working on it. It's basically almost black in places, but I've got a product that I use that will clean that up almost to its original sort of light grey colour. So you'll see that afterwards as well, hopefully. And then we've got a parcel shelf to put in, which we've repaired, leaving these glove boxes out until we put the steering column in. Obviously all the interior got some sound deadening to go in, full carpet set, cards here, seats and interiors all been cleaned by David to his usual high standards, pleased to say. David's popping in tomorrow to give us a hand, and then it's going to be back to the electrics on the lights, and that's about it. this is bits of what I call a restoration that I really enjoy, which is the detail. As my late father used to say, the devil's in the detail. One thing I'm going to introduce, which doesn't often happen, I don't think, is so quite often this rear wiring loom is just left lying there, and it tends to A, wear, and B, get hit by stuff. So I'm going to P-clip it. These are little P-clips, 3 of them, along the wooden frame at the back. So A, off the floor, if it does get wet, the wiring's not sitting in water, and out the way and tucked away so it won't get damaged. Another thing that happened this week, it was quite big for me. I couldn't quite get my head around fitting these back doors, so I leaned on a friend of mine, Martin, who's a carpenter, and he came for the best part of the day and did an amazing job fitting this. He also fitted all the seals nice and perfect, and even got the correct seal between the two. A lot of people use the quadrant seal there, which is wrong. It should be a flat seal. And Dylan came up trumps again, our donor car. I didn't have this plate lines up both doors, and interestingly, for me, there was this little finishing plate on Dylan which holds the rubber down at the top. Even woodies, who are the experts, gurus, ninjas of woodwork, don't seem to use this. They use a nail at the top. So I've outdone woodies, I think.
Hello, my name is Alex and I run my own business called AJ Precision. I do valeting and detailing on cars, and as Cameron mentioned earlier, I'm here to help him on this beautiful Morris Minor. And I've got a lot of kit here, some we might not need to use. I've got rotaries, DAs, I've got a heavy cut pad that hopefully we won't need to use because that's for really deep scratches. I've got all sorts of compounds, polishers, smaller polishers for what we call nano polishing, for small bits you can't reach with the bigger polishers. Paint depth gauge, most importantly, because some of the paint gets quite thin on the older cars. And most importantly, a clay bar, because there'll be a lot of contaminated paint. So we'll see how it goes.
Right, Alex, let me explain. I know you know what you're doing with the paint in terms of detailing. I don't have to tell you anything about that. But just the condition of this car's paint, because we've got mixtures of paint here. This car has been painted in different places. The most important thing to point out, this back section here is aluminium. Side panels here, come around here, have a look. So this is aluminium. Yeah, this whole roof, that's steel.
Gotcha.
That's aluminium. This is aluminium. That's aluminium. That's steel. Now here's the thing.
All to work on.
Well, it heats up quicker.
Yeah,
it heats up quicker than steel.
Be more careful with that.
And you've got to be really careful with aluminium. Secondly, this is me off of a rattle can. So whilst it's got a little bit, it could do a little point, but that is so thin, that paint, because it hasn't come off the gun. It's a rattle can. Just to get
it sounding not so.
Yeah, exactly, I know. It's not concourse. Easy, Tiger. Now, still heavy, obviously a bit gronky, but what we're going to do is clean all this off. This is what you need to get out.
Yeah,
get out.
The clay bar.
Yeah. It's not. These doors need to be attended to better because there's a little bit of corrosion at the bottom. Not much, but we'll deal with that another day. But this could take a beating if you like, polishing. That can, front wings can, and on the back end, don't worry about that. Okay.
Okay.
Paul painted that, and that came off the gun quite well. These two are aluminium. Okay. And if you can, there's sort of streaks where there's been product go on it, like this stuff. There's some signs of old varnish. If we can get them off, that'd be great. But even before we polish, it's similar to, it's not rusty, but it's like the doors. It's got the same paint condition as this.
Right.
But you see here, that's a run from varnish. You might look even with your nail.
Tar and glue remover might.
Well, just try your nail. I mean, weirdly, I just tried it, and it's all come off. I think this is this. See how grubby it is?
Yeah.
There's some products got it, so we've got to do this bit of, the main thing here at the moment is a clean up operation of the paintwork before we get anywhere near to mopping it as well.
The most difficult bits might be I don't have an extension bar, so getting right into the corner.
Well,
in the corners. But
worst way is just do it by hand, a little bit.
Yeah.
And the other thing, obviously, I've got rolls of thick masking tape. It's just to put some masking tape on the wood,
yeah.
so we don't get any burns from the polisher.
There's a lot of dirt and stuff that'll come out there. I think so. So
Just be,
just
be careful. I'd rather get the whole thing polished and going totally, because we've only got the day.
Yeah.
So just see how you go. But I mean, whatever you can do will be much appreciated.
Of course.
Hey Richard, you didn't make it today, and look what I got for you. Look, we've got tea, biscuits, crisps, sandwiches, everything.
Hopefully the bonnet will end up looking the same. See, it's all nice and blue and it's all dirty on the bonnet. Like we actually done the clay bar and the bonnet looks much lighter, definitely compared to where it hasn't been done, and feels much smoother. I'm going to end up going through so many of these. See, the clay bar ends up getting really dirty once you've gone over the panel, but if you just knead it a few times, and you know the clay bar's still good when it's stretchy and it doesn't break apart. You see, this thing eats clay bars all the time. This is now absolutely ruined. Do this many times over. I'm sure you remember I said we are not going to use this microfiber pad. Hopefully not, but we are going to end up using it to really cut into that paintwork. But we will get a very shiny finish. Right, so we've got our microfiber pad and we're going to get our heavy cut compound from Kosh Chemie. This is really going to cut into that paintwork, and it's not going to focus so much on gloss, more getting the scratches out, and then we can refine it in further stages. So we'll get on with it now. And microfiber pads tend to make a lot of mess, but they do cut well. Get it around. Get it around the panel quite well so it doesn't fling up everywhere. Medium speed, and we just go for it. Now buff it off. Right, so there's still a few scratches in there, but you can see we've actually cut some of the paint off. Obviously this is all old paint work. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but it's already so much better than what it was you would have seen earlier. You can see how much the microfiber cutting pad left a hazy kind of finish. Obviously this is a heavy cut pad, but on a much smaller machine it does leave a lot of gloss, and you can see a lot of difference where I've used this and where I've used the microfiber pad. So the whole panel will be much shinier once we've refined it with the DA and a finer polish.
Using somebody else's kit, I'm now going to get this brand new one and use it rather than cut corners. There we go. Ah! Wrong place. That's it.
Right, so we've done the cutting stage now. cut some smaller bits around the bonnet with that. So this is finished with now. We've got our dual action, which is less aggressive. It oscillates side to side as it turns around. This will be the refining stage, but we've actually got a kind of a 2-in-1, one cut and finish. So you'd usually use this if you don't want to cut the paintwork, and this would cut into it and give it a good gloss, because as you saw, this doesn't give it as much of a gloss. But I'm going to do both, so we get that extra bit of cutting and the final finish. So this will wax it too, with the appropriate pad. There we go, just put it. So we've got that, and we'll get straight onto it. You can hear the squeaks, that's how clean it is. As you can see, that is pretty much our fully refined finish. There's only microscopic scratches. It helped that we used the one cut and polish, because it got rid of some extra scratches, and that is quite a good finish, to be honest, considering the age of the car. I'm quite impressed with that, to be honest. Came out far better than I expected. There's obviously some areas that show their age, but all in all, this car has come up really nicely.
If all goes to plan, we're just days away from seeing the Morris back where it belongs, out on the open road.